Imagine being deployed in a war zone, bombs exploding around you, your life constantly in danger. Now imagine finding out, at that exact moment, that a man you trusted back home was trying to sleep with your wife. That's what happened to me. And while I didn't strike back then, I waited, I watched, and 3 years later, I destroyed him. Right before his retirement. If you've ever wanted to get the ultimate revenge on someone who disrespected you and your family, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and stick around, because this is one of the most satisfying, cold-blooded revenge stories you'll ever hear. Back in 2013, I was stationed in Holland as a British Royal Marine. Life wasn't perfect, but it was stable. I was newly married about 18 months in, and my wife had landed a position with the British delegation on base. It felt like we were both doing our part for the country. She was respected, I was proud, and despite the distance and the stress of the job, I trusted her completely. What I didn't realize at the time was that it wasn't her I had to worry about. It was the men around her. Then came my deployment to Afghanistan. The environment was brutal. Sandstorms, gunfire, death threats. You grow numb to the danger after a while. But nothing prepared me for what I was about to hear. We were hit by a vehicle-borne IED, directly targeted. It was a miracle we made it through. While still reeling from that, I learned through the grapevine that a certain RAF guy, let's call him Worm, had been trying to flirt with my wife while I was out risking my life. In that moment, something inside me snapped. Still trembling with rage, I found him on Facebook and sent a very simple, very raw message. If you go near Mrs. Von Scranhammer again, I will put glass in your throat the next time I see you. Not my proudest moment, but I wasn't thinking with a calm mind. I was thinking like a husband halfway across the world who felt powerless. The next day, I got a message from one of my bosses, also RAF. He told me Worm had run straight to him, crying like a child about what I said. But instead of throwing me under the bus, my boss gave me a heads up. He warned me that this guy could have gone to the MPs and reported me for a formal charge. Fortunately, he didn't. My boss basically told him to grow a spine and move on. I was lucky, and I promised it wouldn't happen again. But the damage wasn't just from Worm. There was more rot hidden under the surface. Once I returned home and started to settle back into normal life, my wife finally opened up. She had kept it from me while I was still deployed, but now that I was home, she told me everything. Another predator, an Army Sergeant Major, had messaged her on Facebook, told her she was beautiful, asked for her number, tried to weasel his way into her life while I was dodging bombs. She had blocked him immediately, didn't entertain him at all. But hearing it now, after everything I'd just been through, made my blood boil. I went to my Army captain and told him what happened. He gave me the usual, leave it with me. A few days later, nothing came of it. No disciplinary action, no consequences. I felt deflated, powerless again. That was until the senior military officer, the colonel, walked into our department. He greeted me, asked how my tour had been, and I let it fly. It was good, sir, except for the part where Sergeant Major Douchebag tried to get around my wife. He blinked. Didn't say much. But an hour later, I got an email from him. He wanted details. Turns out the Sergeant Major and the Colonel belonged to the same regiment, and this kind of behavior, especially from one of his own, wasn't going to slide. I sent screenshots of the messages and explained everything. But for it to go official, my wife had to provide a statement, and she wasn't up for that. She's non-confrontational, and I respected her wishes. So I made a request instead. I told the colonel I still wanted some form of formal recognition, Something on record, I asked that the sergeant major write a signed, dated letter of apology to both me and my wife. 2 days later, I received it. And oh, it was glorious. It read like a confession. He apologized for torment and anxiety, for anguish caused, and even admitted that no one should ever feel unsafe because of who might walk through the door. He signed it, dated it, made it official, and I filed it away like a venomous snake coiling in the grass. Because I wasn't done. I finished my time in Holland, moved back to the UK, and life went on. For a while, but I never forgot what he did. One thing he once told me, before he became Sergeant Major Douchebag, was that he had 3 years left to serve. After that, he'd hit his 22 years and walk away with a full pension, so I waited. I watched the calendar, and when it had been almost exactly 3 years since that letter, I struck. I found his wife on Facebook. She still lived in the UK. I knew she had no idea about his behavior. I sent her everything. The original screenshot of the message he sent to my wife, the emails between me and the colonel with the colonel's name blanked out, and finally, the letter, signed, dated, confessing everything. Once I saw that she had read the messages, I blocked her, blocked Sergeant Major Douchebag, blocked every one of his friends who had served in Holland with us. Gone. Why wait 3 years? Because I knew his pension was right around the corner. I knew if his wife divorced him now, she'd walk away with half. And based on everything I knew about him, how he tried to cheat repeatedly, she had every right to. I didn't need to yell. I didn't need to fight. All I needed was the truth and perfect timing. If this story gave you chills or put a smile on your face, smash that like button and let me know in the comments. What's the most satisfying revenge you've ever seen? And don't forget to subscribe for more stories where karma shows up right on time.